workshop Veterans Day presentation. We will give you some background on Veterans Day and then present a skit about one special veteran and his story.
Veterans Day is a national holiday that started as Armistice Day, celebrating the end of World War I. This happened on November 11th, 1918, the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month.
This became known as Armistice Day, the day we put down weapons and began world peace after World War I.
In order to honor not only World War I veterans, Armistice Day was changed to Veterans Day to honor all soldiers who have served or are serving in the armed forces. We celebrate Veterans Day in a variety of different ways. Praise, flying American flags, going to cemeteries, and having ceremonies to honor veterans. At the Arlington National Cemetery, there is a special ceremony each year on Veterans Day. The president gives a speech and puts a wreath of flowers on each of the unknown soldiers. This tomb represents all servicemen and women who have bravely given their lives to defend our country and our freedom.
Red poppies are worn on Veterans Day to remember veterans who died during battle. The red represents the blood they shed to keep our country free.
Thank you for your attention. Now we will present our skit. Please pay attention, and at the end of our performance, we will take questions you may have regarding Veterans Day. We hope you enjoy.
It was an exciting day around our school. The students have been practicing various patriotic songs for the last few weeks in music class, and for the veterans that will be visiting their school on Veterans Day.
Different grade levels have joined together to perform in the school's auditorium in front of a packed house. After the performance, a different veteran will be heading to each classroom in order to share their personal experiences in the military.
The veterans that will be visiting the school were all servicemen and are either related to a student or a teacher. The hallways were lined up with banners and posters praising for the veterans' sacrifice and service. After the performance ended, Principal Starr asked the students to come up on stage and be recognized. The standing ovation and applause lasted for days.
Thank you, performers. Ladies and gentlemen, we are truly honored to be in your presence. We are grateful that you will be coming into our classrooms to share more of your experience with us. Thank you so much for being with us today in order to share each one of your stories. At this time, we ask the classroom teachers to head back to your classroom with your students. The student council members and I walk each of our veterans to their designated destination. I look forward to hearing your stories.
The students all filed back to their classrooms and eagerly waited for the veterans to arrive. There are 90 minutes left of the school day, so students can wait, listening to the veterans speak and share their military journeys.
Mr. Flanagan will be doing the same thing. I am thrilled for you to hear his story. He is my stepfather, and I am really proud of the wonderful man he is and all that he has done to serve our country. We will have time at the end of this presentation to ask some questions.
Did he ever tell you if he killed anyone?
I am so grateful you asked that question, but I am not at liberty to answer that because his experience and story does not belong to me. It is not one that is appropriate to ask because some more experience are very violent and deadly. And it is not one that is appropriate to ask because some more experience are very necessarily what you would call or relate. As a stepdaughter, I have never asked him that question, so I want for you to consider that as you listen to him share his story.
Got it, Miss Cat.
Mr. Flanagan is scored by annual student council member walked into the classroom. Miss Katz gave him a big hug and shared how thrilled she was that he'd be joining. He'd be joining. Students, this is my stepfather, Army veteran, Mr. Tom Flanagan. Class gave a polite and resonant a round of applause, and Mr. Flanagan smiled and nodded his head very thankfully for their kindness. Thank you for giving me such a wonderful performance of songs, and thank you for giving me such a warm welcome. The hallways are decorated so patriotically, and I feel so grateful to be here.
The students sat quietly and intently waiting for the stories to begin.
Don't be a goofball and ask him anything that will embarrass you out of class or Miss Katz.
I know, mind your own business.
I promise not just to talk at you. Instead, I'm going to give you a little background about me, and then I'm going to allow you to ask me questions so you get all the information you would like to learn. I'm definitely not an expert on anything, but I'm thrilled to share my military experience with you today. Has anybody considered joining the military? A few hands shot up. One was Baxter. It was well known that Baxter wanted to follow in his grandfather's footsteps and join the Marines one day. How exciting that at your age, some of you have already considered that as an option for your future.
My grandfather was a Marine and was always very proud.
As he should be. I'm not sure of your grandfather's experience, but I'm thrilled to share my stories with you today.
He shared instead of being drafted in 1966, he decided to enlist.
I wasn't doing so great as a student at Northeastern University in Boston, so I signed some paperwork and I was signed up for flight school.
Where did you fly?
I headed to primary flight school and then to advanced flight school in order to become a helicopter pilot. My training lasted a total of 9 months. Believe it or not, I thought that if I was going to go, I would be safer in the air than on the ground. So Leo and Tammy immediately raised up. The class and Mrs. Katz anxiously awaited his question.
What war did you fight?
I fought 2 tours in the Vietnam War. This was a bit of a challenging war because it was fought with undefined lines. Does anybody know what that means?
I have no idea, but it sounded like it was confusing.
Exactly, it was confusing. It means that it was hard to tell who the enemy really was since I was supporting the South Vietnamese against the North Vietnamese and Viet Cong.
So as a helicopter pilot, what was your responsibility?
Since I was supporting the South Vietnamese, I had to prepare to attack anyone who was posing a threat from the air.
The students sat on the edge of their seats, hanging on to every single word.
Were you scared? I was scared, but the government gave me a job to do. I certainly didn't realize how scared I should have been.
You flew in helicopters, but you didn't sleep in them, right?
No, we slept in tents on the ground. I'm sure some of you have been camping before. It's a little something like that, but more adventurous.
You said you had two tours. What does that mean?
It means I was in Vietnam twice. During my first tour, I was solely responsible for myself, but during my second tour, I was in charge of the entire group of soldiers, or platoon. People were relying on me to make big decisions,
and get them home alive.
I don't know much about the Vietnam War, but I know there was a lot of casualties.
That is true. There were a number of casualties. Why I consider it a job. I was very fortunate to come back alive. Sadly, that wasn't the case for everyone. We came under attack. I was injured when shrapnel blasted through the helicopter windshield. I survived the attack and made it home to the United States. That was not the case for everyone, unfortunately.
The class waited for more.
Once my second tour ended, I came home to the United States and continued my work as a helicopter pilot. Once my second tour ended, I came home to the United States and continued my work as a helicopter pilot. I joined the National Guard Flying Lifestar, which is a critical care helicopter that provides transport for patients in need. When I first joined the military, I was a bit of a lost soul, uncertain of my future. I didn't realize that this would be my life path.
I've heard that some people earn special honors and awards. Have you earned any during your time in the military?
You seem to know a great deal. Yes, I have. I earned I earned a Purple Heart, 4 Distinguished Flying Crosses, Brown Star Medal, and 30 different air medals for all my years in flight service. Again, I was a founding college student without a path, but the military led me to give me a career, and I am forever grateful.
We are most grateful for you and your service. We thank you for being with us today and sharing your amazing story.
Without hesitation, the students stood up and gave Mr. Flanagan an inspirational and enthusiastic standing ovation.
All right, guys and gals, any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Why did people say they wouldn't have wars anymore for something?
Why did they say they wouldn't? Well, after World War I, everybody in the world decided, hey, we're going to be at peace. We're not going to have any more wars. That didn't happen. We still have wars. But for a while, for a short little while, we did. Any other questions? Anything you want to ask the student? You can even ask them about anything about acting that you see them do too. You have one? Okay.
I want to know how long it took to learn all those lines.
Sierra?
Like a few weeks, but it was really hard to get the part and know how to act in the first place. One day maybe.
They may not know. We worked on this for 4 weeks, and who wants to tell them? Did we just work while we were here at school?
No, we worked at home and
Yeah, it's different
Besides
strategies.
your homework, you had to work on that.
Yeah.
We had this papers so we know where we were at and when we would know
What's this
without
called? The
without
script.
the script.
This has all their words on it that they had to learn. That's a lot of words, huh? And Mr. Flanagan had the most. Did he not do an amazing job?
Wow. I just really think that we really did fight the war.
I know. He was very convincing. But So for 4 weeks, but you gotta realize, I don't see these kids, we don't see these kids every day. We see them 1 day a week. So in 4 weeks, they did a lot of homework. They had to, because we couldn't do it all just at school. We didn't have
And
enough
some of
time.
them joined us later, so
Right.
they didn't have very many, you know.
Anybody want to tell them what y'all think about acting or actors now? Claire?
It's a little fun.
It's fun.
Okay, Sierra. Oh, sorry.
It's fun to act out because you get to do like a play and it's like really fun to act.
But you really have to know your material too, or else it doesn't make sense. You really have to know what it's about.
It's kind of fun because you can act out all those words and it's just so fun to play with your friends.
Good. Andrew?
It's a little bit easier, so once you know your lines.
Yeah, it's a lot easier once you know your lines.
It's like kind of hard when you really first get it.
Okay, so what do you think about actors? I don't know if y'all recall the conversation we had about, what do you think about actors that act today? Do you think they have an easy job?
Yes, but if they just started it, no.
They realize that actors have to actually do a lot of work. It's not just all fun.
They make it look easy.
Yeah.
We make it look easy, but it's actually a hard, very much work.
That's right. Nobody realizes how much work it really is until they do it themselves. Anybody else have a question? Yes, ma'am.
Is it true that it's really, really hard to work? Like, you have to learn all of it? Yes.
I'm sure at some point they all thought, we're never gonna get this, but they all did.
Was this like a real story that?
You know, that is a good question. It is not a real story, but it's based on true things that did happen.
Yeah.
Realistic what?
Fiction, non-fiction.
Okay, but let me ask you, these two people, one sat here and one sat in that chair over there, who were they?
Narrator 2.
They were narrators, and what do narrators do?
I don't know.
Yes, sir.
Narrators tell what happens next.
Okay, so they kind of help move the story along, but are they actually in the story?
No.
No, they're on
just
the
telling
sideline.
what happens next, and next.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
They actually kind of tell the story, as you notice. When she said, instead of being drafted in 1986, you decided to enlist, that's something like that.
Yeah. Good job. All right, anything else? No? Boys and girls, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
y'all.
And Ms. Irvin, I think we have enough for everybody. Next Wednesday, we have our big Veterans Day program with all our veterans that are coming, and we have red poppies if you just want to tape on them. We made red poppies for
That would be
everybody.
wonderful. We will wear these next Wednesday.
Y'all reminder.
Yeah. And we might just send out a
Send out a
reminder.
reminder.
Okay, yeah.